Demand for transportation, lodging, and construction activities. These are signs that the tourism sector is finally recovering from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. On the flip side, these are also factors that add to greenhouse gas emission and the carbon footprint. The global tourism body responds to the call to address the climate crisis as it launches the Environmental and Social Impact Report for Travel and Tourism. The World Travel and Tourism Council, or WTTC, says the sector had an 8.1% share in global greenhouse gas emission in 2019.
You know, the great promise here is decoupling growth in travel and tourism from carbon emissions. This is what the numbers are showing us now. Greenhouse gas emissions per dollar generated are going down. We have started on the journey of growing our businesses but reducing our carbon intensity.
Council President and CEO Julia Simpson says the tourism industry must adopt the use of renewable energy and sustainable aviation fuel in the campaign to protect the environment.
Transport accounted for 38% of emissions. Now, let's be honest, that 38%, we are in the travel business, so it would. So, what's the solution? Electric and hydrogen planes will arrive. They'll arrive in the future. But if we want to meet the Paris targets, it is critical we have wide-scale availability of, as we call it, SAF for short. We need a commitment by fuel producers, and we've received that here in Saudi Arabia, to produce SAF and policies to incentivize by governments the production of aviation fuel. And it's not hard. The model for governments already exists. We have had incentive for electric vehicles, and the technology for SAF already exists. We need governments to make it a priority.
In the WTTC Global Summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, industry leaders and government officials highlighted ways to promote sustainable tourism. The Philippines is in step with the global community to make sure that development through tourism must keep in mind efforts to address the climate crisis.
We're also in the process of incentivizing sustainability and green practices by way of revising our national accreditation standards for tourist destinations. And therefore, it's a whole of government and whole of country approach as far as implementing sustainable practices in our communities.
While the Philippines' carbon emission is relatively low globally, it is among the most vulnerable countries to the destructive impact of extreme weather. Undertaking the climate-related efforts will make the Philippines resilient to the impact of climate change while mindful of the global efforts to preserve the planet. Jade Agustin, CNN, Philippines.